Hey everybody, happy Friday. Happy Friday, happy Friday. I'm turning my phone down
Happy Friday.
because I know pranksters will try to call me while I'm talking to you great people.
I didn't even know you turned the live on.
You didn't? Oh yeah. Nice to see you didn't comb your hair today.
I was trying to glue that back in there.
So much going on. It's a handful. Just try to keep up with all of it. But first things first.
I'm glad you're keeping up with it.
Let's get all our hellos in. Starla Doak, how are you? Welcome in. I hope you're feeling great. Same to you, Terminator. I hope you're feeling great as well. Skanes Girls, almost home. Welcome in. City Greens, hello. Jean Mengue, hello. Welcome. It's Friday. Barbara, good evening to you. Vicky Poland says, howdy, Freesteaders. LJC is in the house. I'm going to actually quote an article you sent me this week, LJC. American Roots is in the house. Hey, American Roots, I'm actually going to quote you in the live tonight, too, from just a conversation we had just a little bit ago. Let's see here. Squatchy, how's it going? Carrie Davis says, hello, busy for preparing for the end of the world or the election. Take your pick. It might be both.
Same thing.
Right. Let's see. Redneck, how are you? Aljo, how are you? Mossy Oak Parrot. I don't know why I want to read that Patriot, but every time I just want to read that Patriot.
I think you used to.
Yeah, I did. Will Be Cool's in the house. How are you? My friend Silver Lining is here. And the greatest name on the internet.
Bubble off.
Can't hold him down no matter what's going on around you, huh?
No, we talk about him on a regular basis.
Yeah. Tamara Smith, how are you? Good evening. Nostradamus says greetings from soggy North Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd actually like to begin tonight with just sending out our prayers, our blessings, our thoughts to all the people who are affected by the hurricane, down in Florida and Georgia and South Carolina and other places. And, our thoughts are with you. I've been watching it. I've been thinking about many of you who normally are on the live, who live in those areas, and just know you're not alone. And also know that maybe this is a great wake-up call to build alliances with communities in other places, right? Because I'm going to tell you something. If I had a buddy in Florida who picked up the phone and said, man, we've got a Cat 5. Can we come stay with you at the farm for a week? Done.
Right.
Come on up. Yeah. Right. We'll build something together, whatever it is. And so maybe this is a good wake up call. And I hope people in those areas start thinking about, in any area, really, even in my area, right? We have tornadoes up here, although they're a lot smaller, but earthquake zones, whatever it is, maybe it's important to have those, connections in other places. But our thoughts, our prayers are with all of you guys in those places who are affected, and not just with people from this live, but everybody, right? Yeah. We don't want anybody to be hurt ever, Anyway, Sam Russell's in the house. Good evening to you. Love runs rapid. Hello, Juby Joe. Welcome back. Unique Prepping. Zach is in the house. Lisa's in the house. Hello, good evening. Jim Botho. Hello, Dorothy Holloway. Hello, Dana Green. Hello, how are you? Yep, Unique Prepping. Oops, said it well. Stan Guthrie, how are you? Unique Prepping said it well. Sorry, it just goes by and I go to click and it's already gone. Prayers for everyone who's affected by this hurricane. Yep, 100%. So I think I've got the hello 9D for life. How are you? Welcome in.
90.
Yeah. That's a very interesting name. I'd be curious, 9D for life, the meaning of 9D for life. David Strom, welcome in. Yeah, oh, yeah, so good. David says, howdy, that's exactly what I'm thinking. What are these trials trying to teach me? I thought about this aspect a lot, and just thinking, how important is it that we network with community everywhere, right? No matter where it is, no matter what the direction is, no matter what the threat is. If you built those relationships somewhere else, there's many people who come on this live regularly who, if they called me tomorrow, I'd be there.
Yeah.
And I think it's just super valid. And I would spend some time reflecting and, praying for discernment or searching for discernment or however it is you do it to the answer to that question. Oh, 90 for life. Got it. Love runs rampant. How are you? Says today was a good day to plant the last lettuce. Now time to be a taxi for the kids' sleepovers, and they listen while I drive. Well, cool. I'm glad we could be part of your drive. Hey, kids. If the kids are in the car, hey, kids, how are you? Hope everything's well. Do what you're told.
Yeah.
Don't be mean. Be respectful. All that good stuff. Half Bubble Off Plum says, winds, rain, and a few down trees. We were very lucky. Grid power lost for roughly 12 hours. Backup power did what we needed. Don't you love being prepared? Half Bubble Off Plum, congratulations to you. And thanks for being an example. Okay. Oh my goodness, so much going on. So tomorrow I am going to attend another auction. We have one of our farm consignment auctions going on tomorrow, and then next weekend we have another one. So we're going to go up there. B, you want to talk a little bit about what you've seen? Because B and I went there today with American Roots Farm, and we stopped and did our tradition. We went to Dairy Queen and got an ice cream, and then we went over and walked through the auction. Do you want to talk about what you seen there?
The first thing that I liked was there's a I don't know what you call it. It's like a chute, but it's like it like circles around and like goes smaller, and then it's like that's the end of the road, and then that's the entrance to the chute. So you can actually like pin a cow in there and doctor it or tag it or whatever. But then you can also use it to follow it through to a loading area, which is what I was hoping for, because we have a beef going to the locker late next month, and I need a way to get him loaded. He's the one that is not very friendly, so getting him into a trailer without like touching him,
yeah, he's a big old boy,
or even really getting near him, like if I walk up to him and try to scratch his head, he'll put his head down and start scratching at the ground and like raising his head up and down like, oh, let's play. And I'm like, no, he's like 1,000 pounds. I don't want to play with you. So the cattle chute, or if that one is not available, they had some removed like panels that you can like, there's a pin on the side you like lift up and rotate, and you could like marry them together and then like just pin them so that you could like create whatever path you need. And those were like exactly like the one that Gypsy has. So they
hey,
really
real
nice.
Quick, 90 essential nutrients, 90 for life. Just to make sure you got that up there. Yeah. A couple real quick hellos. Harry Kent Hempworth, how are you, my friend? That I met in Kentucky, but he said Helene hovered directly over them in East Tennessee. Nice and sunny. Thank heavens for solar system with battery backup. Congratulations for being prepared. And again, thanks for being an example.
Yeah, didn't they say millions without power?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Juby Joe says troughs. Beth Emily, good evening to you. As a Life with Mike and Jen, how are you? Good to see from you. Good to see you.
Good to see from you.
Yeah. Hear from you and see you. Yeah. Unique Prepping said, so I learned something about taters. Next year, I'm going to do a whole full raised bed. The ones I did in a third bed section, I got 1.5 pounds. The ground didn't get much, too compacted. You know, there's a lot of ways to deal with that compaction. You know, I know people who mix in sand. I know people who mix in, plant material, hay, anything that breaks that ground up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Make sure, Mrs. Wells, how are you? Welcome in. I know a Mrs. Wells. I don't know if this is the same Mrs. Wells, but I know one.
Are you talking about from the school?
Yeah. Yeah.
I doubt that's not her.
Yeah, David says, reminds me of Temple Grandin. She used something similar to guide cattle. Yeah, I really like this, and I'm hoping that I can buy it cheap enough that I can afford it. And what I mean by afford it is right now we have so many projects going on. I don't have a lot of free money.
Yes.
It's going out the door as fast as I can, figure out where it comes from. Yeah, we got a barn. Yeah, and we'll talk about all of that for sure. Hey, Bonnie says, greetings from Central Florida. You're soggy but safe. I'm glad to know you're safe. Here at the Happy House says, hey, everybody, I finally caught a live. Well, here at the Happy House, I am super glad you're here. And there's nothing wrong with more happy in this house. That's for sure. Right. Jen says her floors are done. Mrs. Wells says, I'm fine. Thank you. How are you all? We are doing great. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay. So back to the auction. So you were
something with the cows. So
yeah. You were talking about the cow thing. Yep. So it's basically a big pen that's in a half moon, and the gate goes through the fence and it pushes them right to where you want them. So you could brand them, although I wouldn't do that.
You could tag them.
Ear tag them. Yeah. I guess you could milk them. There's a lot of things that I could adjust that for. To do it, but yeah, pretty cool. What else?
Well, those were, a mower, But those were on the top of my list, something like that. But a mower would be nice because if I had something on the back, then I can.
Yeah, she wants a brush mower for her tractor.
I want to heavy up my back.
Yeah.
So that when I go to pick up a bale, it's not I need something to counterbalance my weight.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's really just what can I steal? And I don't mean steal like theft. I mean, what can I buy just super, super cheap?
Right. Something that nobody wants that you're like,
right.
Dude, I could totally use
right.
that.
A stack of angle iron or, whatever it is. But
something to take and stack.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need any more stuff to stack.
Yeah, I know. Except I just can't help myself.
We were told that we had to clean up this whole row before she came back, and we haven't even touched it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. She, who you're referring to, don't dictate what I do. So let's just be clear about that.
But it would look nice if it was cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, Sanford Row, but
a bit better.
Yeah, but it's good. Squatchy says, I like free money, but for sure, slim pickings these days with all the projects. Yeah, it's just hard to get it all. And as Juby Joe says, it's crunch time. It's absolutely crunch time. Winter is coming. It's going to be bearing down on us. The temperature's changing. It's in the 40s at night here now, which I love. But pretty soon it will change from that.
It is changing.
Yeah. Squatchy says the boneyard is growing quick. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on what we get, as I always do. I'll post pictures so you guys can see it. And, it ought to be pretty cool, I would think. Hay forks are cheaper than brush hogs. Yeah. Well, I've got forks now
to put on the back.
Yeah. I don't have a 3.4, but yeah.
We'd seen that too, but
she needs a brush hog
anyway.
The
same kind of deal where if I go and I pick up a bale off the back, am I going to pop a wheelie because I'm too heavy in the back?
Yeah.
I can't move that bale.
Yep. Hey Jane, how are you? Yep. 40s. I think it was 43 last night. Is that right?
It was cold.
No, it was wonderful.
I had the covers all the way up to my.
This is probably too much information, but I'm going to share it anyway because I think a healthy relationship is critical to everything we do, and I love it when it gets colder because my wife will snuggle with it. When it's July, we might as well sleep in separate rooms.
Well, you produce a lot of heat.
Well,
and so in the wintertime, I'm like, oh, it's so cold. And then in the summertime, especially if I'm having a hot flash, I'm like, get off of me. Don't even breathe over here.
Yeah, no doubt. But life's good, and so I'm glad it's getting a little bit colder. But we need to be prepared for the winter, and we do need to make it on the forefront of what we're doing. Do we have enough firewood put up? You know, those kinds of things, right? Do we have everything insulated? Do we have the stuff to tape a window up if we need to tape a window up? Do we have the things that we need to deal with the elements? Do you have a primary source? Do you have a secondary source of heat? Are there other ways to do things? And we are in great shape for this. We are super prepared, but it will be bearing down on us, and it will be bearing down on us soon. So
yeah, and we're more prepared this year than we were last year. I think every year we get better at it. We kind of know, hey, don't forget to get the kerosene. And now we know we can buy kerosene in bulk. We don't have to go buy. Right. Remember, when we lived at the other house, we were buying individual things like kerosene. And then we're like, hey, we can fill that at the local store, like for pennies that we were spending to buy those cans.
Yeah, kerosene would be our tertiary heat source. That'd be our... everything else doesn't work.
If everything else doesn't work.
Jen says sleeping with the windows open. Mike is freezing, but I'm so happy. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So anyway, we're going to an auction. We thought tonight, guys, we would share with you guys kind of what B&I's goals are for the last 100 days. As of today, marking this Friday live, there are 100 days left in the year. And so often, and we've done this on videos before, we've talked about our goals and what we're going to try to accomplish and those kind of things. And I think it's important that you guys note that I don't know what her top 5 list is. I haven't looked at it. We did it on purpose, and she does not know my top 5 list. But we're going to share our top 5 list today. But I think what's important is we're headed in the same path. We want the same outcome, but quite often the direction and what we wanted is different. I think to have a successful relationship and a successful marriage, it takes a ton of compromise. And so I have to give in and say, okay, this is really important to B. And so I'm going to make sure that that's up on the priority list. And B has to kind of do the same thing, in a lot of ways. And if we can build that compromise together, right, I think we can continue to flourish in what we're doing. You comment on that? You were giggling.
No, I was just laughing at yesterday when I said, I need you to come and help. I'm trying to get this
Trim
done.
windows. That's what
and
you
I
said.
want you to come. There's some things that you need to get done before I can kind of continue on. Yes.
Okay. And I thought we had a great solution. Why don't you share with these wonderful people what the solution to this was? And they will all say it was fair and you're being ridiculous.
He said, well, I'll trade you 1 hour for 1 hour. I'm like, what? You would be working on our bedroom and you want me to pay you an hour so that you can give me an hour.
Yes. Why? I've got my other projects I'm working on. If I'm going to pull off for a day and give in 8 hours and spend it in there,
in our bedroom,
it's your project right now.
It's like babysitting your kid. So you're not babysitting. You're being a parent. You're not. You come pick up this wood that I threw on the ground that I don't want to pick up. All these little pieces of 2x4s.
Yes.
2x6s.
I'll spend a day with you on your project. You spend a day with me on my project. It sounds like a great deal.
You want me to pick up your trash.
I want you
so
to
that you can come and trim windows.
I want you to come on my project and do whatever I tell you to do. And when I come on your project, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. Why is this hard? This isn't even complicated.
That's so funny. I just thought it was crazy because I'm like, wait a minute, I need your help working on our bedroom. And you want me to pay you.
This is not that ridiculous.
Within hours of my time.
Yes. I want to trade.
Trade.
It's compromise. I will do whatever you ask me to do when I come up there. If you want me to clean up your mess, I'll clean up your mess. I'll spend that 8 hours doing whatever you want me to do.
I don't want you to clean up my mess. I want you to build me windows.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Juby Joe says, oh my God, my son's dad would move to the other side of the bed and I would wake up on the other side. I was a spooner and he wasn't. Yeah, it depends on the temperature, right? See, Squatchy says the barter system. See, it works.
The barter system.
American Root says, I take it. See, easy. Yeah. Zach, you can also add some peat moss. Hey, Frank. How you doing? It has been a long time. Good to see you. Yep. And Banquet of Consequences in the house. How are you, my friend? Yep. Homestead Twins is catching alive. That's very cool. Very cool. Welcome in. Anyway, I think the deal is fair. Do you guys think the deal is fair? This is really the question. Is trading on a project that's important to me, that's my priority, if she'll come help me for 8 hours, and then I trade her 8 hours to whatever project is important to her, is that not a fair trade?
Isn't that it? Why is my project not the top of your list?
Because I have my own list.
I would think that would be on the top of your list. That build it.
Look at that.
Pod for
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Now.
Look at that. Right there.
I think they might be talking about something else.
Yeah, look at that. Mozzie Oaks is 100% fair. Look at that.
I thought it was crazy. I was like, excuse me, come and give me your hours and then you clean up your own trash.
Guys, let me share a little secret with all you wonderful people. This is what B wants me to do. She wants me to take a day to help her get her projects, and then she's done. I'm back to my project. I'm back to being self-sufficient on my own without any help, without anything. Yeah. That's what she wants.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. American Root says, listen, I'm working on a project and so is he. I think it's fair. See?
They're the same project, though.
I'm not being unreasonable. Thank you guys very, very much, because I also did not think I was being unreasonable.
I thought it was crazy that you were even asking that of me. That is crazy. Like, what? Excuse me? What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, see? Look at that. Juby Joe says, you're the man. See? B, you have negotiating power.
Damn it.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. No baking in the sun oven is not the same as building forms.
No.
It's not, is it?
No, she's saying.
Yeah, no. Baking in the sun oven is not the same as building forms.
No.
Yep. Squatchy says, question is, whose time is more efficient? From there, it might be like 1-to-1 or 2-to-1.
Mm,
Do you want to go down this road?
right.
You want to say no, I promise you.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Pope Life, how are you? Says, but isn't B also cooking for you and doing many household chores? I'm with B. Oh, look at that. You agree with this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Potpourri for Life. I hate to say this right here, but I'm also
Then
busy.
don't.
No, because fair is fair. B is a wonderful cook, and she takes great care of me doing the household chores and a lot of those things, just as I take great care of her, making sure the bills get paid and I go to work and I do all of those things. So those cancel each other out.
Well, I pay the bills.
Well,
you bring money to the bank account.
Oh, Mrs. Wells says, why are the windows B's project? Okay, so me and B have a deal that we made a long time ago that when I'm building, I'll do all the construction. I'll put all the insulation in. I'll run all the wires. I'll run all the plumbing. I'll put the drywall on. I'll put the first coat of mud on. I'll hang the doors. I'll hang the windows, and she'll finish it. So
I think I got suckered.
That just means she'll sand the drywall.
It was like
you get to sand the drywall, put primer on it, put paint on it. I have to build it, do the electrical, do the plumbing, do the insulation, do the drywall, all the heavy work, all that.
You act like putting mud on the wall. I have to like play magician. I'm like, how do I get? Okay, yeah, there's drywall on the wall, but that seam and that seam are not like.
I love.
They're not the same. So like, I have to like grind that one and fur this one in order for them to be married.
Yeah.
So like, that takes time.
Yeah. So Mrs. Wells, the windows are in.
The windows are in, but they're not trimmed out.
That's correct.
And so if I have to finish the seams, then if the casing is up, then it's like, this is the casing. You don't have to go and, you go up to it and then it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cheryl says you could trade cinnamon rolls for hours.
Oh.
Jess says Joe has done his fair share of laundry.
Oh, Joe knows how to do laundry?
Yeah. It will bite you later if you don't help your better half. I totally help. I am absolutely willing to go into there, Juby Joe, and do anything she tells me to do. Whatever project she wants. This is not the issue. I'll trim out the windows. I'll carry this. I'll grind a floor. I'll whatever she tells me. I have no problem with that. All I'm saying is the offer was an hour for an hour. I thought that was fair. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the toilet seat thing. Sometimes he puts it up and sometimes I have to put it down. My consequences are a bit wetter than his. Yeah. Frank says, I'm with Tag. Yes. The best solution is to just work together. Problem is that, like, let's talk, Mrs. Wells, let's talk about sanding drywall. I don't do it as good as her. If I start sanding shit pretty quick, she's going to be like, don't sand, you're sanding too much. Yeah, B, you're really good at drywall, really good. Yeah, she's just better at it than me, and she's better at painting. She's better at that fine finish stuff. I'm a great bulldozer. Would you agree?
Yeah,
I'm a great one.
I think how that happened was I saw you edging, and I was like, oh, I think I can do that. Because you were like, here, you try it. And then you were like, start from one side and then just go along the edge. And I'm like, oh, hey, look, I can do it. And he was like, that's your job now. I'm like, wait, I didn't say I was taking over the job. I just was like, hey, I think I can do that. And you're like, well, then if you can do it, that is your job. So if you cannot hold the worm drive saw with one hand and just rip this board down with the other, then I'll do that. You go pick up the wood I just threw on the ground.
Okay. Can you case the windows?
You wouldn't like it.
Can you do it?
Probably not very pretty.
Okay. Can you sand the drywall?
I can.
Okay. I rest my case.
Sand the drywall.
Storm Rider, how are you? Says, I'm Switzerland. I'm staying neutral. Taping and mudding is an art. Yes, it is. Is this like an episode of Everyone Loves Raymond where Raymond screws up in every job he doesn't like on purpose so his wife does it? Yeah, something like that.
That is your job now.
Yeah, guys, at the end of the day, you know what? And you guys know this. I love my wife with everything in me. She's an amazing human being. And this is just, we banter because maybe it just keeps us sane, kind of as we go through it. I'll absolutely help my wife. But if I can find a way to negotiate her helping me into the deal, this is a win-win for both of us. And I don't see how it's complicated in any stretch of the way. That's what I think. Right?
I was just crazy. I just thought it was crazy that you even said that.
I'm negotiating. That's what I do for a living.
That is true.
That's what I do.
That is true.
That's like what I do.
I should
right?
just expect it.
Yeah. David says, YouTube, how to case a window. Case out windows. You got this. Yeah. Anyway. So our top 5. So let's talk about the last 100 days and what we've got on our top 5 lists. And like I said, I've not seen B's list, so we're going to see how close we are, and this will tell you how well we communicate, right?
It's like the newlywed game. No,
yeah.
What did you put?
Yeah, like what? And we'll kind of go through it and see how close we got. So what's number 1 on your list?
Mine is to finish pod 4. Oh no, I actually put move into pod 4.
Yeah, so finish pod 4.
Yeah, and like moved in.
Yeah, pod 4 is very close. It is. It's got some sanding to do and some texture to do on the ceilings, prime paint, flooring, and that should be all she wrote. And then we can get moved in there. And why is moving into pod 4 such a big deal to you?
Because I don't want to have to go up and down the stairs over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like every night I get up. Oh, I forgot to lock the door. Run downstairs, lock the door. Get back upstairs. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Run back downstairs. Go to the bathroom. Run back upstairs. And I'm almost 50. It's getting.
You want to read
getting old.
Juby Joe's comment because it's really important.
Well, Tag, you're 1 in a million. That's true. That is true.
Yeah. SE Wolverines, how are you? Welcome in. B is 1 in a million as well, and your best asset, buddy. Oh, 100%. I couldn't imagine doing this life without her. So my
number one
is to wrap up the community building, at least make it usable. So what do I mean by what do I mean by usable? Usable means I don't necessarily have to have the kitchen all the way in. I don't necessarily have to have the bathrooms working, but have the meeting room there where we can, get together. I'm going to race the best I can to get it done because I think it's something we're really missing as a community, as a place to gather.
That's your number 1?
That's my number 1 to get done this year.
I had that on my list, but it was number 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your number 2?
The barn up and 3 stalls in. 3.
I would really prefer you worded that the barn up.
Well, I was thinking if I had 3 stalls in, then I could. Although, with Cowboy gone, I think that I can handle the 3
other ones.
Yeah, because they're a lot more gentle. They're not like I have to almost run with the food because between the 2 boys, they like to butt heads, and whichever bowl is out first, they're like fighting for it. Yeah. So if I could get them into an area, separate, like this one's yours, this one's yours, this one yours, then I don't have to be in there fighting, like running from them with a stick or a prod or a hat.
Yeah. Well, my number 2 was to finish pod 4.
Okay. So
her number 1 and my number 2 was to finish pod 4. My number 3 was to complete the part of the fence I need to load the cows. And this is going to sound crazy that I would put that up that high, but because I know that date is coming. At the end of October, we're going to butcher Cowboy. He's going to the freezer camp. And so I need to be able to get him loaded into a trailer, and he's not very friendly. So that's one of those things where it's not really what I want to do, but because I have a deadline on it. Yeah. It gets moved up on my list. Yeah. To do that. And your number 3 was community building. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. So so out of our top 3, we shared 2 of them.
Yes, because the loading station, I didn't even think about that because, well, I relied on Louise and Jeff to bring their stuff over and do it, which was not.
Yeah. And they absolutely would. But we need to make it to where we can back a trailer up,
Yeah.
That's why I like that thing you like at the auction, because I can squeeze that on him.
Well, you just push him into the corner, and
Yeah.
then once he's in there, you just swing
stick him in the
gate,
ass with a
and then
cattle
you're
prod,
like,
and yeah, right. And off we go. Yep. Rest in peace, cowboy.
So when Lou and I went and looked at that little girl calf, that first calf we went and looked at, the one that tried to hang herself because she didn't want me to have her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she had. So they had like a wiener on her. A wiener. There's a thing that goes in their nose to help them.
Oh my
wean.
gosh, B.
To help it, because when they go to nurse, it pokes the mom, and the mom's like, "Get off of me!" So it helps to wean them.
Too much gender studies going on in your world, huh?
It's a wiener. So
gender studies. My wife is studying gender, by the way.
She had one of those in her nose, and when
what's your pronouns?
Tried to load her, or when she tried to hang herself, it popped off, and so the lady was like, "Well, I can just put her back in there and put the wiener back on." So she pushed her, and that's how I saw.
On?
No, it like just clamps on. It's a clamp on.
It's a clamp on.
So she put her in there, and that's where I had seen that before, where you push them into that area, and there's like, it goes click, 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 click. There's like ridges on the wall where it like holds the door so it won't go any farther back, and then it holds the door, and it just click, 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 and then you're in.
Hey, Florida Mama Bear, welcome in. One step closer, welcome in. I got everybody. Yeah, this is funny. Juby Joe says it's a weaker, not a wiener.
A weaker?
A weaker. So Juby Joe, my wife's apparently been studying gender studies of some type.
Why is it weaker?
That
doesn't make sense.
She says wiener, not we. I don't get it.
It's a
What's
wiener.
The difference between a WEANER and a WEINER? Wiener.
Well, I said wiener, and then I went, wait, wiener.
One step closer says, careful, B. This could go a lot of bad ways. Yeah.
Anyway, I saw her use that. I don't know if it's called a shoot. It like squeezed them. It wasn't a squeeze. It was a squeeze.
All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4 was my shop's. The outside cladded, finished, the siding up was number 4. So that
and that needs to get
I
done.
can right now I have water coming in.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. My number 4 would be the barn, which was your number 2.
Yes.
Is that right?
So on your barn, you have the barn done, or just like up?
Up.
Well, because the barn's going to get up anyway.
Yes. That's one I can mark off my list.
That's cheating, man. That's cheating.
All right. So of the top 4, we share 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What do you have for number 5?
I have the concrete pad outside of pod 4. So if I get pod 4 up, then the concrete pad. So
yeah, I can't put that pad in I can't put the siding in until the pad's in. So you might as well move the concrete pad up above the siding the shop, because I can't side the shop until the concrete's in.
You always have details that I am not concerned about.
Well, okay, so why don't we just side it, and then I'll pour concrete and spread wet concrete all over your brand new siding.
We'll just keep it off of
You can clean it after you get into cleaning the community building. High five.
No.
Go, Bethany.
No, that's not right.
Oh,
come on
goodness.
now. Man.
Gratitude to Grace. Welcome in. Last warning. Welcome in. And thank you for hit the like button. I appreciate you. The Terminator says YouTube is constantly putting commercials up and stopping the live. I have to keep resetting so I can listen. I'm sorry. I wish I could change it, but they don't listen to me, nor would they.
Probably because you're being ridiculous.
Yeah, my number 5 is to get back to fencing. So we're going to put hard fencing all the way around 40 acres. This year we got all the T-posts in. They're all in. I just got to run the fencing. And so that would be my number 5.
I had no idea. That makes sense, though. I mean,
Yeah.
It would keep the dogs in.
Yeah. It'd just be a big win and also you could let the animals stray further.
Yeah.
If a cow got out, it wouldn't be as big a deal. You just got to go find them in
a big deal.
Yeah. Now it's a big deal because they could get on the highway, or they could, whatever. So.
Well, I mean, we lost a cow. We've lost a cow
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It was missing.
and still missing to this day, by the way.
Right. It ran away from home.
Yeah. So how did we do? How well communicators are we, guys? So our top 5 things on both of our lists, we share 3 of the 5.
3.
Right? Which is pretty good, I think. I think that says we communicate, but I'll let you guys, I guess, be the judge on whether or not we're communicating what we want good enough.
Efficiently?
Yeah, efficiently. And so really, I think the moral of the story to this is just simply, that I'm going to compromise on the things that makes me happy, and she's going to do some compromising, like cleaning the community building and giving me those 8 hours.
8 hours?
See how you just keep
up there.
Yeah. So those 10 hours will go by quick.
Right.
So we'll do some compromise on it, and we'll work to get all of these things done. I think realistically, the barn will be up.
Community building
pod
usable.
4 will be finished, and maybe the community building's the realistic
usable.
But
But
here's the
mean
thing:
like all the kitchen cabinets have to be in and painted, but
right.
to be able to have a table put up where we could, if the electricity was working, we could have lights, and then we could be able to sit there and have a potluck. Everybody bring a dish and put tables up and chairs.
Yeah. Well, and the fence to load the cows will have to be done. I mean, that's that.
I didn't think about that.
So on my list, the barn, the community building, the fence to load the cows, and pod 4 of my 5 will pretty much have to get done. Right? On yours, 3 of your 5, right?
Yeah.
As far as what has to get done. So I guess we'll see. David says we're communicating well. Last warning says you can get the Brave browser to prevent all ads, but those you watch don't benefit from it. Well, guys, don't worry about not benefiting us from watching through something else. I'm going to tell you something. YouTube don't pay nothing. Okay, so it ain't nothing. You guys just do whatever's better for you. I think that's pretty good that you're both even doing this. 3 of 5 is not bad at all. Guys, I'm going to tell you, and I can't stress it enough, I can't do this without my wife and my partner. And, we see things different, although we're not the same people, but our end goal is the same. And I'm going to do all I can to get all of them off the list. Right. But there's only so much time, and winter's bearing on us. And, this morning, you guys, I don't know if you guys seen the short I did this morning. The sun wasn't even up hardly,
Yeah.
So, I was out there early. I worked until I had to go to the auction. Then we went to the auction. Then I came home. I was a little bit late getting home for the live. So I ran upstairs to try to get ready for the live and prepare the slideshows and all of that stuff. So we're doing all we can do, Right?
Yeah.
Real quick on your barn. You got news on your barn? Because, we're not building the barn. We're having it built. I got to deal with it included them putting up the shell. I'll have to do the inside. Yeah.
I thought that they said like 4 to 8 weeks out?
4 to 6 weeks. And that was 10 days ago. So we're probably 3 to 5 weeks out right now from having it constructed. So,
but we have everything that we need done is done.
Yeah.
So they're going to come up there and put the building up.
Yes.
On the foundation that we put in.
Yeah. And I'm excited. So you guys know the King Jeff, Juicy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon, who is in the lives a lot. I haven't seen them here tonight, but they're in the lives a lot. We're also building them a barn from the same place. And so we're going to do them simultaneously. Well, they're going to do them probably in 4 days. They'll build both of them at both places.
It's crazy that in 2 days they come out and put up a whole building.
Yeah. Mrs. Wells says, just imagine what life will be like when everything is done. I don't know if I'll ever get there.
I think we will, because, when the barn is done, the cow barn is done, we won't need another cow barn, right?
No,
I haven't needed another chicken coop. I haven't needed another turkey barn. It's just we continue to get a different kind of animal, and then we have to house it somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
but I think what happens, baby, then you get into maintenance of the house. You get into, fixing, repairing, upgrading. You also get into, I want to make us a new bed super bad. I've got a new kitchen table, half done in my shop. I disassembled, waiting for me to have more time to get, one of those days where I can't be outside. It's snowing outside. I'll be in the shop with the heater on, one of those pleasure days, right? Where you get to work on what you want to work on, not what the Mongolian slave lord requires you to work on.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's always something else. I think, I don't know if we'll ever get there, but
there's always.
Yeah. Hippocrates, welcome in, Instigator. He says, and then there's llamas.
I don't know. What can I do with the llama?
Yep, there's always another product. Yeah.
Emus.
Don't forget about new sheep operation. Yeah. Just what we need. Right. All right. All right. But what else you got on your list? Since I've been talking the whole time. Why don't you talk for a while?
Well, I got the pantry cleaned out and all the jars put away.
Good.
Which was nice because then it kind of gave me a heads up on what I need to go and stock up on, store type items just for winter, right? That way I don't have to go to the store if I don't want to.
Unique, you did not have to do that, but I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It's cool. I do. And I promise you, I'm going to take that $19.99 and I'm going to do something super cool with it. Promise you that. Gypsy says they're in and out, but they're listening. Yeah, I'm going to talk about specifically Lou, your better half, here in a little bit. Yeah.
Well, you were helping them on Monday pour the last, was it the last part of their pour?
The second to last.
You had overbooked your schedule, so I had to take your truck to go get your oil change so that you could take my car to their house to help them pour their concrete. And then we had to switch so that you could get tools.
You did a good job.
And whatnot.
See what happens when you give yourself and help me? My oil gets changed and the concrete gets poured.
I'm so glad I can help you get your oil changed.
Thank you. High five. See, guys,
yes.
That's love. Do you guys notice how dedicated she is? Do you see that?
I just didn't want you to blow the engine.
A little twinkle in her eye.
That was a bug. Getting dusty. Nope, that's about it.
Okay. Let's get on to what's been going on in the farm, huh? First, though, B took an amazing picture at a gas station. I just have a question for you guys.
Oh.
Hey, Indiana Mike, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
These were above all of the gas pumps.
So, just out of curiosity, save money, feel happy. What the hell does that mean?
Well, first I thought it's because they're showing this app. See that? Or it could be, save money, feel happy. And I didn't know which one it was. But clearly that's an Indian lady.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know.
Can you do that again?
No.
Can we hear that one more time?
Feel happy. No, I said this to Tag and I was like, what are they selling here?
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
I think it's a play on the app.
The appy.
Yeah. I think this is super smart marketing. But anyway, I thought it was funny. Gratitude to Grace says, we live in an HOA. My biggest project is planting a ground cover crop where I can grow flowers with edible camouflage for next spring. Step one is building soil amongst trees. We have got a lot of that to do too, planting and stuff. I just don't know how I'm going to get to it all. Louise says, hey, B, I'm canning. When is your landscaper showing up? Well, they'll be here tomorrow.
They're canning. I'm glad you're canning. Probably some tomatoes.
LJC says it looks like camel toe, Kamala. They're doing subliminal programming.
Oh.
Hey, Nitos, how are you? Says, hi, guys. Was getting help from a friend in Florida with storm recovery. Been a rough couple days for me. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, I have tracked down the email you got. Disregard. I'll give you details later. It was just automated and it didn't get caught. They shouldn't have gone out, but it did. Just FYI. Yeah, Florida Mama Bear says it's the app. That's what I was thinking too. Valero is Venezuelan, says Todd, not Todd. Todd, how are you? Yeah, and hey, Nitos, as they mentioned just earlier, there've been a rough couple days. So you prayer warriors out there, let's send Nitos some good vibes, right? And maybe we can help him get through it. Nostradamus says, that's what I thought too, LJC. Then I realized it couldn't be her because the phone isn't upside down. No bees landscapers. Ha ha. Oh yeah. I don't know when they're showing up. She got plenty to do. We have so many tomatoes falling off the plants now. We just can't keep up with them. There's so many that,
that's a good problem.
That's a good problem, but there's just an absolute.
I wanted to be able to help others.
And so you did that.
I planted enough to share.
Yep, and you did that. So anybody that's watching that's in the community, you want here around us, you want tomatoes, come get them. All right, so I got to tell you guys a little story real quick. So the picture on the right is the wall down the center of the community building. Okay, The picture on the left is the devil.
No. That isn't accurate.
No, it's not accurate. She's a wonderful, beautiful, intelligent lady. However, I asked her and my bride, because she's got a lot of experience in this. I asked them to come to the house. I needed to know where the stove goes. I need to know where the refrigerator goes.
Yes.
And I need to know, do they want a dishwasher? Where does it go? So that I can run the water lines. I can get the right electricity to them.
Gas lines.
Right. Just the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Show me where it goes. So what happened was, in this little section of wall right here, and I have them on both sides, both ends, they determined that what I needed to do is build places for drinks. So a coffee bar.
A drink station.
Drink stations. Okay.
Nazwa.
Yeah. So
there's lots of drinks.
I tore the wall down, as you can see. I inserted a cabinet and I put a cabinet above it, and I'll kind of click through these pictures.
Yeah. Oh,
so right, these are kind of the same picture. One door open, one door's closed. So again, put a bottom cabinet in, built the back up, get ready to set the top cabinet in, right? So we set a couple top cabinets in a couple different places. And then see, there's two, but this is where the story gets funny.
It's like 36
and
for the double one and the 24 for the single one. And I thought that looks pretty good.
Yeah. What else did you think?
There's like wasted space on that right there.
Yeah. So between the door and the smaller cabinet, there's a big wall right there that she says
looks like wasted space.
Why can't you put cabinets in there? So that's what I built.
An 18 fits. Thank goodness they come in different sizes. Ready to use.
Yeah. So what started as, hey, guys, where's the stove go?
Well, so here you wanted to know where these items went. And I think that while it's raw, open, do what you want with, we should go ahead and start utilizing those spaces so that we don't have to move things later when walls are up. And you like coffee.
I wasn't asking.
You need a bar.
I wasn't asking where the coffee went. I figured it'd go when your kitchen's 30 feet long. You could put it on a counter somewhere.
Yeah, but if you have like 100 people coming into the kitchen to get drinks while you're cooking, probably not very safe. So if you have the drink station with 100 people getting drinks outside of the kitchen in an area that has no other people by it, it would be you can make a line, like go through one, like lemonade, water, coffee, all the fixins. You want some creamer with that? Here's a little straw. Take it with you.
One step closer says, the fun of change orders. Yeah, no shit, huh? Yeah.
I just thought it would be easier to have all of this together instead of in different areas.
Instigator says left to right, coffee, tea, and keg. So if you guys look
I didn't even think about that.
If you look at that very far door, the door closest to Be a Nice Picture, that's a bathroom. The next door, there's a pantry in there so they can store their stuff. And this is just the wall kind of in between.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but the story doesn't end here, just so you guys know.
Right.
Let's see here. Half Bubble Off Plum says, I thought chocolate milk was Tag's beverage choice. And did you notice nowhere in there did anybody mention chocolate milk?
Only after about, I don't know, 2:00.
Change orders what I named my boat. Yeah. Gratitude for Grace, send me your plans. I've been designing interior architecture for almost 30 years. I'd be happy to take a look and sketch it up. Oh, cool. Yeah, and it is my favorite. But so here's the thing. The other side of the community building looks exactly the same in that there's a bathroom on the end and there's another big room in the center. Now, in this case, it is the utility room where the solar goes and all of those kind of things. So, of course, we couldn't have a lopsided. So I had to do it on the other side, too.
Right.
So this is the other side. Exactly matches.
And now we got a media center for all of the plug-in stuff. Yeah. You know, somebody comes with a laptop and they want to do a presentation. They can just plug their laptop right there into this media center and everything comes up onto the TVs. And then on this other areas with a bunch of kids around, we have now a place to put like a tote of markers or crayons, some coloring books, maybe some other items, some paints or glues, you know, things to keep them busy while they're there too.
Am I the only one that thinks it's ironic that we began this conversation with talking about B wanted me to come up to Pod 4 to help, and I wanted her to come down and help, and she came down and changed all of the plans. This took me 2.5 days of work to get all this stuff put in.
I know, but could
and
you imagine
2 trips to the hardware store? And
that's because you weren't very efficient in the first place.
Well, maybe I'm not efficient because you're changing my plans on my project and then asking me to get off the project that you changed the plans on so that I can come help you on a project that had been the same plan for 10 months.
The details in which like how does what, it doesn't matter what order they go in.
Oh, it doesn't? It doesn't matter?
I didn't think so.
All right. Well, if fair being fair, I wanted to add a picture to the live tonight that B took of me because she's going to make fun of me.
He said, come down.
Okay. You want to explain what's going on here?
Yeah. So you're recutting the hole for the electrical outlet because you cut it on the back side of the drywall. And then it didn't line up. You cut before you measured. Measure twice.
Blah 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 was what caused
That's what was going on in your head.
No, it's because that's what I was listening to.
No.
Yes.
Then why do you want me down there with you?
I want you to be down there. Just be quiet.
That's not possible. That's not even possible.
Oh, yeah.
There's too much to be said.
Yeah. Mossy Oak says, sounds like I need a Stanley. Clearly. Guys, I measured from the wrong side of the board, and then I'm like, man, it's backwards.
And then he said, I'll just patch it. And I'm thinking, don't I have to finish that drywall?
Yes.
No, use a different piece. And he goes, I am not using a different piece.
At the rate we're going, I'm going to have this all finished before you finish Pod 4.
Come on now. You cannot rush perfection. It's, in Pod 4, this is the thing. The seams are moving. I can't stop it from cracking. Like I put mud on it and I walk away and I'm like, okay, it's drying. And I come back, the mud is dried and the crack is there. So I grind it out, remud it, go away, come back, the crack is there.
There's a solution for that, YouTube's your friend. You say,
yeah, they suggested I use a different mud.
And you asked me to get you the mud.
I got the mud.
Have you tried it?
I tried that mud, and it's still cracked.
Mm.
So what I found out was that there is nothing behind one piece. It's like floating. It moves.
There's no way I would have put a piece of drywall up.
It moves.
There's no way I would have done that.
I can show you. I can touch it.
Okay, so
and
listen.
The drywall goes.
Listen, if that's the case, you got to cut the drywall out of there, and I'll put it back in there. But there's no way I would have done that because how would you ever secure it?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a picture, guys, tomorrow of what this issue is, and we'll prove.
Don't do that.
Oh no, we'll prove it.
Because I've already tried to fix it.
Yeah, we'll prove it. Juju Joe says progress on project is awesome, but what about grid down? Are you referring to the grid going down? Are you referring to the company grid down? Right, grid down on my shirt. I'm not sure the question.
But what about grid down?
Packard says, are you not taping seams? No, they're being taped.
Oh, they're taped. And I can show you where it still moves.
Yeah. Michelangelo took a little more than 4 years from July 1508 to October 1512 to finish painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. So
that was just a ceiling. One.
Yeah. Yeah. The windows are all foam. They're all as they're supposed to be. I'll find out tomorrow because I don't think she understands, but we'll get there. Grateful Hearts Ranch. Hello. You guys want to see some other cool stuff? And then we'll get on to some news. So check out this picture. This is a really amazing picture.
Look at that.
Isn't that an amazing picture?
Yeah.
So this is the fabulous Louise, and she is finishing concrete. Look at that.
While her husband's eating a banana.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that in the background? Yeah. This is why this picture is so great.
Is he on the phone?
Yeah, he's talking here. Let me get you a little better close up. He is talking on the phone, eating a banana. The king
watching her work. And I love that she has her jewelry on.
Yeah, yep. Yep, she's all pretty, doing concrete. How cool is that? What a great picture that is.
Yep. And she got a smile on her face.
Yep. So soon there will be a barn that sits here. Well, a house, really, half barn, half house, right? That will sit on these pads.
And that's their tiny house they moved.
Yeah, Jimmy Joe says, "Oh hell, that's a skill." Yeah, look at that.
Look how smooth it is.
Yeah, look how beautiful it looks. She's doing a great job. This is, yeah. Southie Essie Wolverine says, "He's like you, missed a spot." Well, the king's there to supervise, right? Yeah. Skanes Girl says, "I didn't even notice Jeff initially." Great pick. Yeah, this is a picture that should end up on the wall of the community building, right? This is just one of those great pictures, in my opinion.
And she's got a good point on that.
Yeah.
Float.
She's doing great. That's not a float, but
whatever.
It's Fresno. Yeah.
Looks like it's floating.
Share some other pictures with you guys. So, yeah, there was a close up. Look at her being all smiley. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
And a thumbs up.
Yep. Gypsy said, "I had my coffee too." Yeah. Yeah. Indiana Mike. Oh, wait. Indiana Mike said, "Supervising, coordinating, eating, and hydrating all at the same time."
Multitasker.
Yep. Yeah. I've seen it done. Absolutely impressive. Yep. You see, we need concrete collage of photos. Yeah. No doubt. Huh? It seems like we're always pouring concrete somewhere.
Somebody is.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, right now going on inside the community, we have 3 houses being built, 2 barns being built, a bathroom addition with a house being moved, a greenhouse, and soon to be an 80 by 100 shop that has to go up. Going on right now inside the community.
80 by 100.
Yeah. Frank says you have to use tape before the mud. Tape went on, right?
A couple times.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Right? We'll figure it out. All right. Well, what else you got on your list? And then we'll get to the news since it's already about an hour.
Yep, go ahead. Well, let's move on because
No, CAG did instruct well. Look at that. I think not to delay
what to do.
Well, I think not to delay the whole concrete thing, but just to say, I think girls, especially girls who grew up baking, make good concrete finishers. I know that sounds weird, but because it's just like spreading frosting on a cake. It's about getting it smooth and about getting the lines out of it and about, moving your trowel one way or the other. And so I think that is a good match, kind of, made in heaven. All right. Well, should we talk about some medical corruption today? That sounds exciting, doesn't it? You guys ready for all the good news?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
You like good news?
Do you have any?
I do. Check this out. So the agriculture department just approved 2 companies to sell chicken grown in steel tanks, grown from cells that come from an animal egg. They don't want you eating real meat. That's a privilege which will only be reserved for the elites. And so they're now creating chicken to be sold. And I promise you, it will be in supermarkets. Make sure you're reading right what you eat. The mRNA-based vaccines were designed intentionally to harm, maim, and kill to reduce human fertility, says Wide Awake Media. Dr. Mike Yenden, former vice president of Pfizer, was quoted as saying. Lovely, right? 78%, according to Sense Receptor, 78% of all sudden infant death syndromes occur within a week of taking the big combination of vaccines during early childhood. 50% occur within a day or so after the shots. It's very tightly related. Now, this is a Dr. Peter McCullough, who, if you guys don't know him, you guys should absolutely look him up. Absolutely on the front lines of, this battle. But this is also something that's been quoted by RFK and a lot of other places. I have not read the reports myself, but I can tell you that it's come from a bunch of good studies. Internist cardiologist and epidemiologist Dr. Peter McCullough describes for We the Patriots USA multiple studies that have shown that big combinations of shots, vaccines, are strongly associated with sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, as well as autism spectrum disorder. And again, he goes on to highlight that the study conducted found that 78% of all SIDS deaths occurred within a week of getting all of the vaccines. How amazing, right?
That's awful.
All right, we'll find some good news. Alexis update. You guys know I've been following this story. This is a girl who was having headaches, goes into the doctor. She wasn't up on her vaccine. She was missing 3 of them. So they gave her a combination. They wouldn't treat her unless they gave her a combination vaccine. They gave it to her, almost instantly start having problems. And I've covered this now, I think 4 weeks in a row, right?
I don't know.
Yes, I've covered this story, babe. I don't know where you've been, but I have. So Alexis update, just a couple quick things. The burn team is coming in once a day now to apply an antibiotic Silvadine to her neck, face, neck, ears, and knees. Her back is almost completely clear. Lexi is also getting to go outside for about 20 minutes before the burn team treats her. Keep praying. The next update, pray for Alexis. Latest photos taking are shocking. That's her ear, right? Now, let me see here. The Lorenz family and the courageous nurse, Angela, are hunkered down and safe and receiving life-saving treatment. As you head to church today, please say a prayer for Lexi. We learned Friday that her hair is starting to fall out and that she's on a cocktail of medications and opioids as part of her treatment protocol. Lexi is suffering from chest pain, high trypillion levels, and tests are being done to make sure that her heart is okay. So what you're seeing here is 4 weeks after she received those. There's been lots of reports, as I reported last week, about her not really getting the best of care because people are speaking out, because the parents are filming. There was a case where they said they couldn't film, but they appear to be doing it anyway. But poor little girl, you know.
How old is she? We still don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
and I thought didn't you just cover it 1 week?
No, I covered it last week and at least the week before that when it happened.
And I thought she was like an Asian woman. Mm-hmm. This looks like she's got blonde hair. Mm-hmm. And you think she's a little girl?
I do. Well, not super little, but super sad, right? All right. RFK Jr. just announced that on the day 1 of Trump's second term that they will sign the national emergency declaration to begin the war against big pharma and food corporations to fight the chronic disease epidemic. We're going to get the fluoride out of the water. We're going to get the chemicals out of the food. We're going to get the chemtrails out, the chemicals out of the chemtrails. We really will see the greatest revival in American history once the corruption is cleaned up. Can we just skip to January 20th, 2025 already? Yeah, I think there's a million reasons. I'm going to cover them. I added a new section in for this live called Why He Can't Win. But this is a great example, right? I mean, you're picking fights with a lot of people and a lot of big money and a lot of, there'll be a lot of fight there. The CDC just held a secret meeting about the rise of autism from vaccinations. And this is, again, from RFK. So they looked at one vaccine, which is the hepatitis B vaccine. They looked at kids who had gotten it in the first 30 days, and there is a 10,000% increase in the levels of autism from kids who got the hepatitis B vaccine within the first 30 days of life. Crazy. Over 20 million people are dead from these shots. You'll never get away with what you did with your bioweapons. Alex Jones confronts Dr. Francis Collins, the former director of the Human Genome Project and NIH director who worked alongside Fauci. Several neurological damages caused by the COVID vaccine injury, paralyzed and drawn up into the fetal position. This machine forced me to stretch painfully and very purposefully, clearly remembering this torture device, but I don't recognize this individual. And this just shows a guy from vaccine injuries who the nurses are trying to get healthy. And hey, I want to be clear about something. There's a lot of great nurses out there fighting the good fight, who are in it to help people be healthy. The problem is the deep state. The problem is the protocols. The problem is the processes that they had in there. Hey, conserve friend says, hey, I'm just in time for good news. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, let's see what else we got here. So the Redhead Libertarian posted, it's likely that you don't have a gluten allergy. And again, this was quoted from RFK. Says you don't have gluten allergies. You have an allergy to the chemicals they started spraying on the flour in 1993. I was diagnosed with a gluten allergy, but then began getting my bread and flour from Italy, and it vanished.
Right.
Yeah, look at that. SE Wolverine says, I'm a nurse, and I got let go because I refused to take it. Hey, I don't know if SC Wolverines, if you're open to it, but I would love to do an interview and talk about your story. All RNs get practitioner license ASAP. Here, I wrote LJC up there because she sent this to me and I just found it really interesting. So Kissinger quote from a speech to the WHO, the World Health Organization Council on Eugenics in 2009. And he said, once the herd accepts mandatory vaccinations, it's game over. They will accept anything. Forcible blood or organ donation for the greater good. We can genetically modify children and sterilize them for the greater good. Control sheep minds and you control the herd. Vaccine makers stand to make billions, and many of you in this room are investors. It's a big win-win. How sad is that, right? What I've learned, Tim McAdams reports, what I've learned from this horrible COVID jam mandate and the ensuring terror that infected me is to never trust a pharmaceutical company or your employer who claim to care about your well-being. I lost my health, my pilot's career of 40 plus years, and I almost lost my life. Don't risk it. Says, oh yeah, hey, okay, so hey, listen, I don't know if we have any moderators in the chat tonight, but if there's one in there, will you put the my email address in there and Wolverines get a hold of me and we'll schedule something. Let's see here. G. Johns, how are you? Welcome in. Be better. He better be getting Social Security protection after remarks on Secret Service protection after remarks on Big Ag. Yeah, there's a bunch that I think it's going to be. This next 40 days is going to be insane. 2 Fruit Loops produced. The Canadian version isn't as bright colors as the USA product. Yep. There's a lot of the food. There's a lot of the food we eat here in America that is banned everywhere else, right? Jimmy Joe says, I'm flipping over the lies. Hey, Amy B, how are you? Welcome in. Good to see you. Got you all warmed up?
Yes.
You good with all that?
Plenty warm.
You want to talk about the deep state?
Ooh. I don't know about
Isn't this one your favorite?
I don't know about my favorite.
Which one's your favorite?
They're all
Equally your favorite?
Yes. They're all equally.
Okay. So Biden is signing an executive order today to reduce gun violence and save lives. So President Biden's new executive order to reduce gun violence and save lives. The new emerging firearms threat task force will combat the emerging threats of machine gun conversion devices and unserialized 3D printed firearms. So basically what that means is they're going to take a swing at what they consider a machine gun. But what's so crazy about that is we haven't been able to legally buy a machine gun, right? A fully automatic weapon in the United States forever.
Right.
Right. And so what they're really talking about is bump stocks, triggers. Like there's triggers out there that'll fire every time you pull the trigger and release it, but it's still not a machine gun. It's still not an automatic, right? And I think that's what they're making the run at. Guns that don't have serial numbers on them, 3D printed stuff. So I think they clearly talk about what they're going to do. Directs federal agents to improve school-based active shooter drills, to improve the effectiveness of active shooter drills, minimize the harms, create age-appropriate content and communication with parents before drills happen. And so, of course, obviously they're worried about the schools. You know what's so crazy? When I went to school, like every truck in the parking lot had a gun in the back window, and we never had any of these problems. Jen says, we're having dinner with a friend. I'm sneaking in. Well, good. Good.
To put your email address in there.
Yeah. G. Johns wants to know, why did Biden wait almost 4 years to reduce violence and save lives? Yeah. So did government news scum out here. I need to read it. Yeah. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. I agree with that. Yeah. Let me see here. I don't know if we have any mods in the house. Oh, yeah. Someone put her there. Sorry, right. There you go. There's my email address right there. Okay, they got it. Okay, cool. Sorry. So this was really interesting. So Coca-Cola is getting a bunch of backlash. So they have these machines where you can have it print on your can.
What?
Like you could say, I love my dog, or I love my wife, or whatever, right? And it'll print on the can before you buy it. And what was interesting is they put in there, Allah loves you, and it would print it. They put Buddha loves you, you would print it. But when they tried to put Jesus loves you in there, you get this oops, which is the picture on the right. You get this oops
Sadly,
message. They cannot complete it. But you could do Satan, you could do Allah, you could do Buddha, you could do all of them, but you can't do Jesus. Yeah, Florida Mama Bear says my school had guns and trucks too. Yeah, mine did too. Absolutely crazy.
Showing your age.
Yeah. Pennsylvania teacher says, "Oh man, I did not crop these. Sorry, guys. I must have just put these in and mixed this whole one." Anyway, Pennsylvania teacher says they're forcing them to register as a Democrat voters to be part of the teachers union. Sister, the teacher in Pennsylvania, told me that her sister has to be registered as a Democrat in order to be part of the teachers union. The Pennsylvania, or the PSEA, is funded by Democrats and the school board as well. So to secure the union benefits, they register themselves as Democrats. Lovely, right? Jay O'Keefe has announced dozens of federal whistleblowers coming forward in the next few weeks, and it's going to be shocking. You know what's funny? The Whistleblower Reform Act was just passed last year. It's almost, if all of this was planted and timed ahead, buckle up, we have 40 days of turbulence. I could not agree more. I think that there is, which is why I put this slide in here. I think there is so much we should be doing. I don't want B going to Sam's Club or Costco or do any of that without me. We'll just schedule a family trip to do it together so that, I can be there, and we're going to try to stay out of public gatherings, right?
Yeah.
And just stay home and keep canning, and whatever happens, I guess is what happens, right? Right. Or, well, someone keeps saying they're going to stand drywall. You can buy full autos, but you have to get a tax stamp and an investigation. Plus, they cost tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, you can get the right credentialing. You can get them, but the average everyday citizen hasn't been able to own a machine gun in a long, long time. B is so tolerant. Yeah,
I am tolerant.
You are. Couldn't do Trump 2024 either, but Harris works. Right. Absolutely right. All right. Let's see here. ABC whistleblower who swore under oath that the network conspired with Kamala Harris to rig the presidential debate in her favor has officially filed a complaint with the FEC. Isn't that so crazy? You don't see any of this on the mainstream media. None of it. With a date on the document being Monday, September 23rd, 2024. This update comes from the Black Insurrectionist, which is what they go by on Twitter, at least, who is in direct contact with the whistleblower. He also reported that members of Congress have declined to hold a hearing or investigate the claims about the ABC election interference until after the election. Absolutely crazy. Let me see here. Congress.gov it now has a bill on the floor to ban citizen militias introduced to Congress. So, you got to really look into the right to bear arms. In the very beginning of the Second Amendment, it says, that the militias are crucial. But what you have to really understand, and I don't know how many of you guys have actually gone down this road. What does the, word militia actually mean? I'm talking about as the founding fathers meant it. We in our society confuse it, I think, and we think militia is a bunch of people in camouflage running around the woods.
Yeah, a bunch of men.
Yeah. But, it is supposed to be a bunch of men. But what they meant, and if you go back to the Federalist Papers and you go back to a lot of our founding documents, what it really meant was all able-bodied men.
That makes sense.
Okay. So the militia represented all able-bodied men. That didn't mean people who were out running around the woods. The militia was just all able-bodied men who weren't currently serving in the military. That constituted the militia. So
and they weren't hiding.
They weren't hiding. Well, they weren't even training. What all they're saying is what the militia was all able-bodied men. We make it into this, tactic, people running through the woods in camouflage. That's not really what it was
hiding
intended
in the
to be.
Woods.
So I think it's fascinating. Again, we're talking about newspeak, right? Because the word militia, if you go back to the intent of the founding fathers, wasn't what they're making it out to be, which I think is crazy. Let me see here. Louise said, we got to see some of the James documentary. Unbelievable. Yeah.
You know what she's talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, but Congress is on vacation till after the election. And I know they are, but isn't that awful convenient? A federal judge has now greenlit a $30 million lawsuit accusing the U.S. government of causing the wrongful death of January 6th protester Ashel Babbitt, with a trial date set for July of 2026. So a federal judge has greenlit. They're going to sue the federal government over what happened on January 6th. But what's so interesting about January 6th, I don't talk about it a lot, but there are now reports coming out that Trump asked for National Guard protection for January 6th and was declined it. And then later on, you got him saying, why didn't we have the, they spun it into why didn't we have the National Guard? I think that more and more is going to come out about January 6th. And
aren't there people in jail because
of
January
a whole
6th
bunch
still?
of people. Yeah, what a shame, But anyway, more to come on that for sure. I don't know if you guys seen this or not, but Pavel Durov capitulates after arrest, agreeing to share Telegram user data with French authorities. So Telegram originally, or for a long time, said they weren't sharing user data with government authorities. If you remember, he flew to France, he got arrested.
Yeah.
After a little bit of time in jail, he is now capitulated, and he has said, okay, he will share all the data in Telegram. So just so you know, your Telegram information, and not that I necessarily believe all of this, because it probably already was, but Pavel Durov, the founder and CEO of Telegram, has recently made headlines following a dramatic shift in his stance regarding user data privacy. Once a staunch advocate for free speech and digital privacy, Durov now finds himself in a precarious position after being arrested in France amid serious allegations. His change of heart about sharing user data with the government marks a significant departure from the principles that initially defined Telegram and raises questions about the platform's future. I think my big question is Musk next, right? I mean, the thing is, you put enough pressure on somebody, right? And you can't blame him for not wanting to be in jail, right? But don't post anything on social media you don't want everybody seeing. That's the best advice I can give you, because none of them are safe, to include Twitter. Chicago City Council approves $51 million to house illegal immigrants for 30 days, which is absolutely crazy, which, by the way, the residents of Chicago are going ballistic, right? Residents were so outraged, police had to escort people out of the city council meeting several times as police are removed. Outraged residents, Mayor Brandon Johnson says he will continue to conduct the business of the people. Yeah, except they're not.
Right.
Right. What else? So the Gateway Pundit reported, which I found this article super interesting, that Nancy Pelosi's husband dumps over $500,000 in Visa stocks just weeks before the Department of Justice antitrust lawsuit. So the Department of Justice just filed a suit against Visa.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, just recently.
Why?
In antitrust, just that they were just unfair business practices, basically. So Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, dumped $500,000 worth of Visa stock just weeks before the Department of Justice slapped the financial giant with an antitrust lawsuit, according to the New York Post. The timing couldn't be more suspect. Visa, one of the most dominant players in the debit card market, is now facing charges of monopolizing the industry. The Department of Justice Antitrust Unit claims Visa has abused its market power, forcing financial tech companies to work with them while penalizing those who tried to go with any of the competitors. Mm-hmm. But Nancy Pelosi sold 500,000 prior to the suit, and as soon as the suit hit, Visa stock.
I wonder if that was all that he had with them, like if he just sold everything, or if he has another 500,000 and he only sold half.
And 500,000 is a lot.
That's a lot
to have in one
in the
stock.
First place,
to have in one stock. Yeah, and then Visa stock degrades, right, because the suit, and he don't take the hit, right. This is why I no longer believe in a political solution to our problems. It's just too deep. It's just run too much. Here's some interesting pictures I thought I would share with you guys. So this is down in Florida, and you can't see it, but if you look at the license plate of that semi truck, if you zoom in, it's a Florida plate. Anyway, so they're making these triangles, and for those of you soldiers who are out there, you'll know exactly what these are. And I'll wait to see if someone pipes in the comments with them.
Is it for wash water?
No, it's to stop armored carriers. It's to stop tanks. It's to stop armored personnel carriers. Stop vehicles, basically, is what they're made for. They're pouring them right there on site. As you can see in the picture on the right, you can see the forms up there, right here. See, babe? Right as they're making them, and they're filling them. And so my question is, these are called dragon's teeth for any of the non-soldiers out there. Why are they making dragon's teeth in Florida is what I want to know. Right there on site and stacking them in a warehouse.
I thought it might be because of you're talking about like Omaha Beach.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Something that they would stick out on the beach so that people were coming up on land and parking and. Yep. Because that looks like what Saving Private Ryan. That
exactly
looks like
where it is. Yeah.
Clunkers that were out on the.
Yeah, they're hard to navigate in tracked vehicles.
Could that also if you put a row of them, like keep the earth there in case of 20-foot waves.
When they just run around them.
I don't
I mean,
know.
if you were going
like
to keep
if
it
they
there,
were in a row, maybe
you'd build a retaining wall, wouldn't you?
Sandbags.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know. Yeah, it says saw that. Yep, interesting. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. But what is going on? Oh, my phone's exploding. You want to talk politics?
That's pretty normal.
You ready for politics?
No.
You don't talk any politics? Let's see, they are importing voters. It's obvious, says Elon Musk. With the election looming, the U.S. is approving citizen applications at its fastest speed in years. That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No.
Candace Owens discovered that the picture of the lady Kamala Harris took with a picture with, claiming that it was her Jamaican grandma, died 4 years before Kamala was born. How do you take a picture with someone who died before you were born? And then I also wanted to point out, if you guys have not watched this, you have to go watch the interview with Kamala Harris on Hurricane Helene. Dude, this girl is drunk. She's slurring all of her words. She is wrecked. I mean, they literally replaced a senile, demented old cogger with an intellectually challenged drunk.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She was absolutely hammered.
Where could you see this? On where?
Yeah, I would just Google, Kamala's speech on Hurricane Helene. And it was just, I was just kind of like, what? Really? My mom I grew up as an alcoholic, and so I can smell it a million miles away, right? Just the way the behaviors
you
are.
Watched it. And
I did. I'm like, oh
drunk.
my, oh yeah, I know. I don't see there's any doubt. I know. Yeah, but I would really encourage you guys to go check that video out if you haven't. It was very interesting to me. Guys, it's time to expose Toyota. And, I'm real big on pointing out companies who aren't doing the right thing. Because I think that free market capitalism is the answer. I think if it's a true free market, we can win. Florida Mama Bear said, Harris said the hurricane help should be given according to race. Equity was her claim. Crazy. Yeah, make sure you watch. Anyway, let's expose Toyota. Toyota has been one of the most trusted brands in America, but they've totally gone woke. Here are some of what we found. Toyota sponsored a drag queen program at a summer camp for kids identifying as LGBTQ. Toyota opposes laws that ban sex changes for kids and funded groups who work to make sex changes legal for children, and they worked with the HRC to oppose these laws. Toyota openly supports the Equality Act, which would allow men into girls' bathrooms, sports, and locker rooms. This is because of ESG. They're being pressured to do these things for their profits, right? By the deep state. So this very well could have gone in the deep state one too. Toyota funded the HRC's Time to Thrive Summit, where they worked with the largest teachers union to push gender ideology into elementary schools. They donated to the HRC, the Trevor Project, Dallas Resource Center in Los Angeles, LGBT Center, and the Workplace Equality Summit, all supporters of child transitions. The Trevor Project features chat rooms where adults have been caught talking to kids about sexual kinks, how to transition, masturbation, and more. They also have a quick exit feature to wipe the browser and hide the website from parents. Funded many all ages Pride events. Woke DEI training, LGBT Chamber of Commerce member, preferential treatment for diverse suppliers, hosted LGBTQ events at corporate, created custom cars with trans flags, ERG groups divided by race and sexual orientation, a total commitment to DEI policies, received a 100 out of 100 on the CEI score from the HRC for 16 straight years, which means that they pay for not only employees' transitions, but for children to employees to transition in states where it's legal. To put it mildly, Toyota seems to have forgotten who their core customers are. They depend on American families and Japanese families to buy their cars. It's time to remind them who their customers are.
Well, looks like we're not buying a Toyota.
No. Evening, right in time for the good news, I see. Yep. MJ from Wisconsin, how are you? Tim, again, welcome in. MJ, welcome in. And Pete says 100% evil. Guys, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you get to choose. You get to choose where you spend your money. And we can go about and we can spend our money and we don't care and it goes to whoever, or we can spend money with responsible companies. And I promise you, they'll listen to the dollar. It's the only thing they'll listen to.
Right.
But they'll listen to the dollar. You like that?
Yeah, several companies have had to.
Oops, wrong way. Should have went that way, huh? You want to talk about why they won't let him win? This is one I wanted to do last week, but I didn't get to it. So I added some new slides. But let's talk about the reasons why they're not going to let Trump win this year. RFK breaks down how he and President Trump will drain the swamp in 2 minutes. We're going to appoint honest officials who don't have a conflict of interest. We're going to listen to whistleblowers and act on the revelations. We're going to slam shut the revolving door that sends industry executives and lobbyists in and out of government. We're going to fire anyone who betrays the public trust or lies to the public. And we're going to prohibit federal agencies from using their powers to harass political opponents. One of my priorities in Washington will be to make sure that President Trump can follow through on this promise and return us to a government of the people and to make America healthy again. RFK wants to know why we have an ATM machine on every block that never gets hacked, and yet somehow we can't secure our elections. RFK Jr. says the Department of Justice under Trump will launch RICO investigations into the collusion between medical boards, medical journalists, and Big Pharma, which led to many brave doctors getting fired for prescribing alternative treatments for COVID and other illnesses. And if you guys remember, I reported either last week or the week before that the FDA receives, they got a bunch of heat because there was the claim that they received 50% of their funding by Big Pharma. And they came out with a counter and said, no, we don't. It's only 47%.
Yeah, come on
right,
now.
Right. The Justice Department should immediately call in the beginning investigation of the medical boards and the collusion between the pharmaceutical industry and the medical boards that are delicensing these physicians who actually try to heal patients and try to treat them. That gave me goosebumps. I can't wait till January 20th. Yeah, I doubt it's going to get there, but we'll see. Trump announces that as president, I will immediately implement a temporary 10% cap on credit card interest rates. We can't let them make it 25 and 30%. I really struggle with this one, just so you guys know, right? Because part of me believes that what we really need is free markets, which means if Visa wants to charge 30%, let them.
Yeah.
But make them compete with MasterCard and make them compete with, right? And whoever charges the lowest rates will get the most customers. But the flip side to that is some of those people who depend on them because of the pressure put on by the deep state are in a situation where they can't choose.
Right.
So by us doing that, does it then allow those companies to prey on the weakest among us?
Right. And I think it would.
Yes, I think it would too. RFK Jr. says the Department of Justice under Trump will launch RICO investigation. I already talked about that one. I don't know why I have that one twice. Let's see here. Governor Ron DeSantis says that the FBI won't cooperate with Florida investigation. And I know you guys know this, but because this was a couple weeks ago, but so they're investigating the Trump assassination attempt on their own and trying to keep the FBI out. But they, when asked if they were cooperative, DeSantis said, no, they are not being cooperative. And yes, I am concerned. Our investigators were rebuffed just going to the fence line outside the Trump International Golf Club course. Democrats incite violence. This is something that's so interesting to me. You know how, if you guys read, and you guys know this, I'm not a Republican fan, but the Democrats are talking a lot about inciting violence. And yet I can't find a single case of a Republican senator, congressman, representative anywhere saying go attack and kill Democrats. I haven't found one, but I can find plenty the other way around. Democrats incite violence and death to Trump. Stacey Plaskett, which was appointed by then Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, hear what she said about Trump. And it says Trump needs to be shot and stopped. And remember when they did that on, wasn't Saturday Night Live, but anyway, they did that skit, top right-hand picture where they bloodied Trump's face. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was from a couple years ago, right? Jewish Congressman Dan Goldman is going viral for calling Donald Trump to be assassinated on national television. FBI agent in charge of investigating Trump's assassination attempt was asked to delete his anti-Trump social media post by Chris Wray before he was promoted to the position as lead agent in the FBI. Oh, it's only beginning, right? Hillary Clinton calls Trump a dictator who can't be given another chance to do harm to our country just one day after the second assassination attempt. Clinton made the comments during an interview with far-left host Rachel Maddow. I don't understand. Listen, this is super important. Listen to this. I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. What she's really saying is, and we talked about this last week, why it's so hard for them just to take her side.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. And Alex Jones says the reason why Senator Lindsey Graham should be investigated for the latest assassination attempt. I think what we're going to find is, hopefully, if we win, right, if Americans wake up and we put enough pressure on, what we're going to see is is that there are the deep state actors in both the Republican and the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
That it's through all of them, and we need to kind of get rid of both, in my opinion. Let's see here. There are some indications that shows both the Butler shooter and yesterday's shooter both appeared in BlackRock commercials. I don't know if you guys have seen
saw
that.
Yep.
The deep state's planning to blame the world economic collapse on Trump. So this is interesting to me, because in order to blame Trump, they would have to let him be elected. Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, he'd have to be elected in order to make it his fault.
Yeah, and so we talked about this many, many times. That to me, the only way I think it happens is if they want to fall back.
If they to let him in,
and let it collapse it. Right.
He did it.
Right. But very disturbing for sure.
That's so twisted.
Yeah. Reports indicate there may have been a third attempt on Trump's life. Approximately 20 patriots who attended Trump's high energy rally in Tucson were now reporting having to go to the ER immediately after the rally. And what ended up happening is they had burns in their eyes. And originally there was all this talk about maybe it was a chemical attack or whatever, but now it appears that it was lasers being pointed at them. And they were pointing them they're probably pointing them at Trump, but because Trump had the light in his face and those other things, maybe it had less effect. But I will follow it because I find
they're trying to point lasers in his eyes to blind him.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Florida Rep Matt Gaetz says there are 5 assassination teams on U.S. soil targeting Trump. This is a big story. And this has come out on a lot of different sources. This isn't just some, prepper website, right? This is Florida Rep, that talked about how 3 of them were Iranian. And I've been thinking about this, as I work. It's so crazy how you do that, while you're working on something, what your brain goes to.
Right.
And so, in my opinion, the left wants war with Iran.
Okay.
So if they acknowledge self-propelled missiles, for example, shoulder-launched rockets in America, supplied by Iran, and they successfully assassinate Trump, shoot down Trump Force One, right? Then they have all the standing they need to then take war to Iran.
Well, that would create war here if
but I think that's the goal.
Well, I'm talking about on our soil, though. This is what's going on, and they kill Trump like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be chaos no matter what, I think. But hard decision: cap to 10% on credit card interest and no tax on tips versus $25,000 of free money to buy a second house. Yeah, none of it's good. The deep state can't survive with both sides. Yep. I'm concerned about the lag of other people who still maintain status quo, like we are still keeping up with the Joneses. I think more people are getting awake every day, though, right? Yeah, Wolverine says lasers can make you go blind. Yeah. We at least are finding out who the shadow elites are now. Yes, and there's a lot coming out about that, right? And I think people are becoming more and more awake. But more on this story. Trump's not messing around. He just called out John. Sorry, let me back it up. I'll read a different one first. 2 separate intel reports have confirmed the presence of 9 surface-to-air missiles of possible Iranian origin smuggled into the U.S. via New Mexico. These missiles, designed for low-altitude attacks, are believed to target former President Trump's plane, a highly disturbing revelation from Dr. Pete Chambers. What's more alarming is this information has reached the highest levels and law enforcement is actively investigating. Trump then vows to destroy Iran if it harms an election candidate, citing great threats from the country. Wow. Kerry Davis says, do did he do? I think do did he did. I think he did.
I don't think that's what she's talking about.
You don't think
Pity did he do?
Pity did duty?
Dude did he do?
He did duty. He's out. Trump's not messing around. Yeah. He just called out John Deere to the face for replacing American jobs with foreign laborers. I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors, he says in an interview. As you know, they've announced they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now that if you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything you sell in the United States. Yeah. It's funny, as soon as Matt Gaetz comes out and talks about the missiles that were smuggled across the border. I mean, within hours. I think I covered this last week a little bit too. Yeah, right. Okay,
he was accused.
Yeah, he was accused.
All kinds of things, right?
Yeah. Let me remove this real quick here. Yeah. Okay. How about immigration? You want to do that?
Sure.
At 1 hour and 34 minutes? Okay. German girl named Maria. Maria was a 19-year-old and a successful medical student. She loved animals and always helped shelters in Freiburg. One day, Maria left the student party and rode her bike to return home. Hussein, a 17-year-old Afghan immigrant, ambushed her. The Afghan immigrant attacked and raped her. Then he brutally drowned her in the river, and Maria is no longer with us. Import the third world, become the third world. Horses missing after a barn break-in. Animals found butchered about a mile away, butchered and eaten for food. There are children, and they were abducted and killed for meat. This is the same thing as going into someone's yard, taking their dog and cooking it. Our children are heartbroken, and my wife is heartbroken, reports. This December, we're getting rid of our cell phone plan. In the spring, we will get rid of the phones altogether. Our property will become a digital technical free zone. I will enforce this rule. Digital technology is going to do very bad things to people in the coming years. I absolutely agree with this. Is how do you minimize that? How do you make sure that what can happen, how they can get into your systems are covered? I have a smartphone. I'll probably always, as long as I have a business that I have to run. But there's no smart technology allowed in my house besides my phone, right? But this is
smart technology like the smartphones and
smart TVs and smart refrigerators and Alexa,
the games that the kids play,
all that stuff. Yeah, we don't have a game system in our house.
Well,
I might have an old GameCube in a
yeah,
box
we have
somewhere
all
or
those
something.
old ones that they didn't take.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not plugged in or used.
Yeah,
but
a German woman was raped by 7 North African immigrants in Germany. The criminal records and the crime sent it to. Let me see here. Oh, so the criminals recorded the crime and then sent it over the internet to all of their friends. Florida Mama Bear says, not to mention 300,000 missing kids across the border. Oh yeah. Wait till you see. I got some stats on what also crossed the border. You'll love them. This will be the good news for you, Florida Mama Bear. See those first 2 pictures, top and bottom? If you look, those are pictures of people carrying the Palestinian flags, et cetera, and that's not Tehran. That is Dearborn, Michigan, taken last week. Right? Parents in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, revealed that the majority of young kids in schools are Haitians who can't speak English. Schools in the town can't keep up. 4,000 Americans in the town, 2,000 Haitians. A Haitian guy recently attacked a 14-year-old girl in a school bus going to school in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. 2,000 Haitians were dropped into this town of 4,000 people. Residents report a rise in crime, and accidents, schools, and services are now overwhelmed. Incredible footage revealing the operation in that same town where Haitians are being bused to and from school from food factories operated by 4th Street Foods. It's estimated that 90% of the workers are now made up of Haitians. This is a place where they're completely replacing the populace of Americans.
Yeah, 2,000 Haitians
in a town of 4,000. Yeah, could you imagine if they put 50% of the population of our county in immigrants
added to it?
Added to it. Yeah, the bottom one, and Wokeness reported that an old lady was randomly knocked out in New York City. And New York is turning into a bad place. This, if you look, I don't know how well you can see the picture on the bottom, but this old lady was standing there with her dog, and she was clearly in her 70s or 80s. And this young 20-year-old guy just walked up from behind and cold cocked her and knocked her out cold. The interview with her was interesting. She shared love for him, said she forgave him.
Wow.
But
yeah.
Yeah, G. John says, how many Haitians in sanctuary cities in blue states? Yeah, just had a social equity ad. Don't surprise. I'm surprised they even let me do these lives because I don't shield anything I say.
Yeah.
I don't. Springfield, Ohio, mother tells Ramswamy that an immigrant with a machete chased her daughter and the police didn't respond to her call. Ramswamy went on to say, if you're the first act of entering into a county breaks the law, then you are more than likely to break the law when you're already here. In this town alone, there were double the number of shoplifting crimes in the last 2 years. Auto thefts are up 50% in the same amount of time. We have to restore that culture of the rule of law. When people see the top law enforcement agencies not following the law, they're rightly asking the question, well, why the heck should I have to follow the law? Yeah. And this is one of the last steps to the collapse of a society. No longer a conspiracy theory. They're now giving illegal migrants jobs as law enforcement officers. And in fact, today in Michigan, they hired a Somalian lady as a police officer who is not a U.S. citizen. I seen it in one of my feeds today. Let's see here, the Citizen-Only Policing Act, because they're now allowing people under these programs to serve as gun-carrying sworn officers of law. Keep in mind, these people are in the country illegally, and that is what is so crazy to me. Another fine point to put on this is that everyone should be upset about this collectively. We spent $42 billion of taxpayer money every single year on people in this country who have been brought in through the Harris-Biden regime or have crossed the border illegally. So as a comparison, homeless veterans get $3 billion. So illegal immigrants coming into this country get $42 billion, and homeless veterans get $3. Yeah.
Seems right. Seems fair.
Yep. So much damage being done. Makes you want to.
I'm going to shut my windows.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's being done completely on purpose. Yep. Florida Mama Bear says they're also letting them buy guns. Yes, they are. I've seen lots of reports on that.
I have two that they were supposed to just allow it to happen.
Yep.
To run it through.
Yep. Absolutely crazy. Let's see here. Muslim and far-left extremists, many of them holding Hamas and Hezbollah terror flags, have again shut down the streets of New York. Because I've seen a bunch of footage of New York City, and there's a lot of these things going on, marching down the streets with masks and all of that kind of stuff. If I go to the next big city close to me and run down the street with, like this guy's doing, waving smoke with a mask on my face, I'm likely to get
He's
shot.
got something hung around his neck, too.
Mm. Just in, new ICE report reveals the Biden-Harris administration has let in 425,000 illegal immigrants who are all convicted criminals. So a half of the 10 million that they let in, they're saying 500,000 of them are already convicted criminals. And I'm going to actually show you some breakdowns on that. Police chief outside Springfield, Ohio, says his access to the police radio frequencies were suddenly cut off. He's been warning about the rise in car accidents in his town from the Haitians. Something's very shady. So this is a guy who's been standing up, and all of a sudden he's not allowed to communicate
They
anymore.
cut off his communication.
Yep. Filmed last night, police cruiser is lynched by hordes of youth, but no arrests are made. Trump says today I'm announcing a new plan to end all sanctuary cities in North Carolina and across the country. As soon as I take office, I will immediately surge federal law enforcement to every city that is falling to turn over to these criminal aliens. This is interesting. I didn't put this in here, but Trump's going to task Elon Musk with cutting out waste. Remember when he took over Twitter? He cut 90% of the workforce.
Yes, he did.
And so there's a lot of talk about this is what he's going to do, how he's going to use Elon Musk. Yep. If you don't spend $300 million per day in Afghan, where do you spend the money? On a silly barrier in Mexico? Yeah, clearly, right? Or instead of our homeless people or our people in need. Right? Or how about let's just quit printing money so our dollar's worth something so that there's some value when I go to work? Or even better, how about we don't collect it all together, right? So instead of paying 60% of my income in taxes, I actually get to keep some of my hard-earned money because after all, I'm the one that went and did the work. Yeah, Squatchy says cut 95% of the government.
They just want you to share.
I could not agree more. Yeah, I don't want to share. No matter your politics, these new numbers are shocking. Of the 7 million immigrants that ICE released, and this is according to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, okay, and I actually copied their numbers in here, right? This is their numbers, which means they're probably not real. They probably underestimate, right? Of the 7 million migrants that ICE released while their cases were being processed, 663,000 have criminal histories. 13,000 were convicted of homicide, 16,000 of sexual assault, and 1,845 faced homicide charges. And if you look at the graphs in there, and I won't read all of them, but if you look at them, it actually breaks down the numbers of all of them. Like larceny, for example, there were 12,397 migrants let into our country with convicted larceny charges. Do you think this is by mistake? I mean, they know of these records. Then why do they do it? You have any idea why they do it, babe?
To get rid of them out of their country.
No, to get rid of us out of our country. Right?
Well, to kill us. because we're not going to go to
No,
Haiti.
and I don't think it's set out it's to kill us. It's to silence us. Because at the end of the day, the biggest threat to the deep state is us. Is people who wake up. I'm not talking about violence.
Right,
I'm talking about people who walk into their county commissioner's office and say, no more.
But
no
those
more.
who are waking up are not being quiet about it.
They're not. And
So how would they quiet us if it's not? I mean, because
they dilute us.
Our choice is, yeah.
Right? You want a less chocolatey chocolate milk, put less chocolate in it, right? Whatever.
Or add more milk.
Or add more milk. Same
add
thing.
Add more bodies.
Right. Add more bodies. Great way to think about that, right? I think we're in big trouble. And I think these next 40 days are big. I think that what a great time to double down on your efforts, on what you're doing on your own homestead, your own home, in your apartment. Guys, you can live free anywhere, right? You can live a self-sustainable life anywhere, no matter where you're at. And I promise you, you can do it. It's the game of a whole bunch of little things. You can absolutely go do it. You know, there's not a better time to buckle down right now and say, if the lights went out tomorrow, what will I wish I had done? Right. Ask yourself this question. If the lights went out, if you woke up tomorrow morning and the grid was down, what will you wish you would have done? And then my question is, why aren't you doing something about it? And what a great time to double down. What a great time to say, hey, this is my time. This is 40 days, right, where I'm going to focus all of my energy on getting myself in a position to where I can withstand better. 40 days, right? Call it the 40-day tag challenge, right? 40-day bee challenge. She's more of a slave driver than I am.
Not really.
Yeah. And 40-day challenge. What are we going to get done in 40 days? What I'm going to do in 40 days, I'm going to try to get the community buildings finished up. I'm going to get a barn up. We're going to get some stalls in. We're going to get a pen put in where we can more effectively get the cow butchered, right? And get my bedroom finished. So I have a place to lay my head. All the while, we're going to be processing food out of the gardens. And
40 days.
40 days. 40 days. Oh,
so, you just stepped on my foot.
Let's see here. Decreased birth rates are native-born Americans is outstanding.
Astonishing.
It's outstanding. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. It's late. I got a long day. Yeah, babies and more babies. That's another great thing.
Babies.
What he's saying is one of the ways we fight back, have kids, produce offspring, because at the end of the day, our birth rates are now below 2.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so think about how that works. If you have a mom and a dad, and on average, they combined, they produce less than 2, what happens?
Right.
At 2, they're keeping up with themselves. You really need like a 3. Right? Yeah. I'm too old for kids.
But I got grandkids coming.
I'm encouraging my kids to give it hell. I promise you that. Hey, Ghetto, welcome in, bud. Long time no see. Gotta go pick up my crap in California. Yeah, guys, I think it's 40 days. Do what you got to do and do it right now.
Right.
Do what you got to do.
Right.
Do it right now. Thank you. No more lollygagging. All right, no more.
How many trips is that going to be, Jen?
All right, you want to talk about some finance?
Sure.
Everybody loves money.
I do.
All right, I like money too. Fed, as you guys know, recently the Fed lowered interest rate. I was going to cover this last week, but I didn't. 50 percentage point or 50 basis points. So 0.5%. Was its first cut since 2000. It's kind of a big step. And I think that if they were just trying to gradually lower it, they would have done it in small steps. I think this is good. A really good sign that they're a little bit in a panic too. They can't keep raising them and they need to lower them, but they really can't lower them. And so they're kind of in a catch-22. Yeah, right there. See, I think they're going to lower another 50 basis points. And they probably will. And I would imagine even more than that. This is going to create some opportunities. For those of you guys who are in mortgages, who entered into a mortgage at a higher rate over the last couple of years, might be a great time to refinance it. Maybe. But
maybe not, though.
Maybe not. Yeah. I thought I'd share a little slide with you guys today. So what $20 in 1932 would buy 482 gallons of gas, 427 gallons of milk, 675 dozen eggs, 2,700 first-class stamps. Any of those for $20. $20 today, you can buy 7 gallons of gas, 6 gallons of milk, 10 dozen eggs, and 40 stamps. right? Does the stamp cost more today? No. Milk costs more? No. It's the devaluing of the dollar. It's by playing all of these games. It's by printing all of the money, right? G. John said they had to do 50 since next meeting isn't until after the election, and they don't want an emergency meeting. 2 more 25 raises this year. Yeah, well, I also think they did 50 to try to help Kamala out a little bit. It's not going to have the outcome they want, right? But recast your loan. It costs less and just changes your rate rather than adding years to your mortgage. Yes, I agree with that. Birth certificates being used. What else we got here? Kamala has asked about her plan to lower the cost of living, says she will do that by lowering the cost of necessities. Remarkable. The question, what will you do to lower the cost? Here's her answer. Yeah. I, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is for this generation and so many recently far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. That was her answer. Substance, right? Substance. Ghetto says, which let's not forget, the most money that was printed ever in history was during the Trump administration. 100% agreed. Trump's not going to fix this at all. I do think that I would much rather have him than what we've got now. And I think that we can slow the burn maybe a little bit, but I 100% agree. There's not a political solution to the Republican Democrat problem.
I mean, why can't she just do that now?
Why could she do it the last 3.5 years?
Why can't she lower the prices?
Well, wait a second. Do you want her to lower the prices?
Well, that's what she says she's going to do when she.
So you want the government to come in and tell you what you can charge for your chicken, your egg, your whatever? You want price controls on what you do?
No.
Hell no.
Well, how is she going to lower the prices?
She doesn't say. She gives word salad. World Economic Forum has predicted cyber warfare will collapse the global power grid, and now Akash Patel states there's a possibility of blackouts before the election. See, I think this is 100% right. And if you guys want something super interesting to do, I didn't do it in this meeting, but in reference to this, if you guys want to research something, research the Pact for the Future. Okay, 193 countries agreed to the Pact for the Future. This is the replacement for the World Health Organization agreement that didn't go because they got so much heat. They passed it under a new name today. Go read it. Okay. The World Economic Forum has predicted again cyber warfare will collapse the global power grid. It's so interesting how in the Pact for the Future, what they talk about is not U.S. citizens, but world citizens. There's no mention in it about any type of sovereignty. It's all about one collective world order. Go read it. It's really interesting. Agreed, Tag. Regardless who's president, the same old career politicians are the ones who will be making the rules. Yep. Let me see here. 4 Haitians hired where I work. They don't speak English. Workers here use Google Translate. Communication is frustrating. Donna, welcome in. I don't think I said welcome before, but yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
That is frustrating.
Yep. We have a scheduled blackout scheduled on the 30th. We really want to go to the Rogue Food Conference in Texas on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, but that's 2 days after the election. I don't know if I want to be out and about at that time, to be honest. You know?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. November 6th, right? Alex Jones says World War III with Russia will be cover for economic collapse. Alex Jones predicted in 2009. And I think this is right on, because if you know it's going to collapse, what are you going to do to take the attention away? What are you going to do, right? So they're going to have to create something. Well, there's going to have to be something big.
You mean something else bigger. I mean, I think the whole Diddy thing is getting to be a big ball of it's gaining and it's
the United Kingdom, by the way, has been going through a collapse. I don't know if you guys know this, but their GDP is down over 20% since April. The economy's collapsed by more than 10% of the tax revenue has evaporated, and millions of people are going to be out of work soon if the public sector gets off with a mere pay freeze. What they're referring to is the UK government has put a freeze on all public sector salaries. So nobody's allowed to get a raise anymore, which again is a good telltale sign, right? Kind of what's coming. Let's see here. Nito says, that's scary. No more individual countries. I know, right? I urge anyone who has vacation days to use them for November 5th. I will gladly be staying home with my family on that day. Great, great, great advice, Ghetto. Yeah. Nope. I would stay close to home. Yeah. Right now we're staying close to home, but crazy in my opinion. All right. Remember I told you guys how we were in the very tail end of it? I wanted to show you this very interesting story about how this is the rise and fall.
Is this the Tatler thing?
It's a more expanded version of the Tyler cycle.
Tatler.
So if you look at the not, the new order or new civilization, right, gets strong leadership, inventiveness, education, strong culture, resource allocation, good competitiveness, strong economic growth. You get to the top, we become less productive, overextended, lose competitiveness and wealth gaps. As it begins to fall, okay, so we're going to read these ones to you guys, and I'll tell you what, you guys tell me what you think if we've obtained them. Do we have large debts today? We're $36 trillion in debt. Are we printing money?
Yeah.
By the masses, right? Do we have any internal conflict?
One.
Republicans versus Democrats, right? I mean, we have people calling for the assassination of a president or a president-to-be.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Loss of reserve currency. You guys I know have heard of the BRICS nations, and that right now I think the euro makes up 24% of the reserve currency basket. And so when it used to be the dollar was 100%, it's not anymore. Would you say we have weak leadership? We have weak leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So the last one is Civil War and Revolution. And so I think this was just a perfect, let me go back, a perfect telltale sign. Nito says Adapt 2030 showed this a few years ago. Yeah, I loved this slide. When I ran across it, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This kind of shows where we'll be. Jen says it'll be one trip. I'd get it done if I was you. Hour and 56 minutes. I want to share a quote with you guys before we get out of here today. It says, Samuel Adams said, if you love wealth more than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may prosperity forget that ye were our countrymen. Samuel Adams. What do you think of that quote? What do you think he's saying in modern terms?
Don't live like the Joneses.
Yeah, well, I think what he's saying, if you love money more than you love your freedom, right? I mean, if that's where you want to be, then leave us. Get out of my way. I don't seek your opinion, nor do I seek your defense. Get on your knees and kiss the hands of your master. Right. May your chains not weigh too much, and may you never have prosperity because you're not my countryman. I think what he's saying is it's time to pick a side.
Ouch.
You disagree?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you gotta stand for something.
What's up, Spags? Bill and Fallon, how are you? Good to see you. Says the EU law that just passed is now being levied against us. Going to cost us trillions. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. I want to remove that one. All right, babe. It's an hour and 57 minutes. Let's talk about what's going on as far as parting words. What kind of advice would you give everybody with everything going on today? What do you want to talk about?
Why don't you go first?
So I wanted to share with you guys an interesting quote that came out of a car ride with me today. And it wasn't, I thought it was beautiful. And they didn't, I don't think
that they. Oh my gosh, how many pages you got?
Oh, babe, welcome to my world. They didn't exactly say it this way, but we were in a discussion, and really what came out of it, and I want to credit American Roots for this, but basically, if I summed up what they said in a 4-minute conversation, right, or 2-minute conversation, what they really said is that once we come to terms that it's no longer convenient. So once we've accepted the fact that it's no longer convenient anymore, right, that the rest is easy. And so we have to come to, I think what really, we have to come to terms with eating is not going to be as easy task as it once was, right? Securing your home is not going to be as easy task as it once was. Procuring water, maintaining shelter,
Yeah.
Paying your taxes, right? Being able to rush to a doctor, whatever it is, it's no longer going to be as convenient. But once we accept the fact that it's no longer convenient, the rest should be a whole lot easier. I thought it was a super good statement. Again, not said exactly that. I'm paraphrasing a lot of it, but absolutely goes to them. And it's time that we take accountability, responsibility. It's time that we be, intentional in our actions, right? And
but yet loving and honoring.
Of course. I mean, I don't think you can love freedom and not be honoring. Right? Freedom applies equally to everybody.
Well, right. And I was going to say, in those around you too.
100%. Is that what you wanted me to say?
I didn't want you to say anything in particular.
Oh, you want me to be quiet?
I just wanted you to.
You want me to be quiet?
I just wanted you to speak from your heart.
Why don't you speak from your heart?
I agree. I think that I liked it when she said that, and I agree. This life is not easy, and the switch. I think you call it the keyless entry. The
keyless entry culture.
The switch. The going over and changing the thermostat just 1 or 2 degrees here and there. You kind of get used to. It's hot. The whatever you put up with more. I think you're less comfortable. How in the nighttime you get up and you're hot and you go and you just turn the dial and the whole house comes to this degree and you're just like, this is wonderful. And now you're like, oh, it's cold. I got to go. Crap. I got to go outside to get the wood to bring in, haul in. And
what makes my uncomfortableness much more comfortable?
What makes your comfortable?
What makes my uncomfortableness much more comfortable? You.
Yeah, I agree. I
right.
Having a partner to do it with is nice. When we were taking cold showers on the back deck, it sucked. And for you to be singing in the rain while it's happening made me go, okay, it's cold and it's dark and it's sucking, but we're here and we're together and we're doing it. This is what we wanted. We're living free with our cold shower. But I think that has changed quite a bit. I have learned to not be as comfortable as I was, but being able to still be with you and to honor and have the life that we wanted, to know where our food comes from and to even the lessons of hauling the water and the grunt work that goes along with it, I think does teach us to value those things more.
Maybe if we invested as much time, energy, and resources in our relationships instead of reality TV, instead of, the Kardashians, instead of the other things that were going on. If I put my energy in having a great marriage and having a great relationship with you, maybe that also is why.
And don't lose it. Don't lose the little things that, I could easily not make you coffee in the morning. Sure. I don't drink coffee.
Right.
It'd be so easy.
And I'm fully capable of making it myself.
Yeah, but I don't want you to. I will make it for you.
I know you will. That's because it's proper training.
But pick up your own mess.
Guys, take care of each other, love each other, respect each other, honor each other. Because at the end of the day, each other might be all we got. Go build community. It'll make your odds a whole lot better. Spend these next 40 days getting stronger. Spend these next 40 days answering the question, if the shit hit the fan tomorrow, what will I wish we'd done? I love you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday. Tag out.
Be out.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Hold the line.
Clean up time.